It's now been 4 months since the LA fires, and the recovery effort is starting to look like a massive scam.
This is our new normal. For the last 3 months, every time it rains, this is what we get in LA County. Every time it rains, we get a fresh restock up the top of the sick runoff from the Palisades and even fire. It's just going to keep happening because it hasn't been cleaned up yet.
Yeah, why hasn't it been cleaned up? Something is definitely up, and we are going to get to the bottom of it. So rewinding back to February, just a few weeks after the fire, the city of LA hired an outside disaster relief firm called Hagerty Consulting, run by a man named Stephen Hagerty, to oversee LA's fire recovery effort. The LA Times reported that Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass selected Hagerty Consulting to, quote, assist with infrastructure restoration and environmental mitigation. Price tag, $10 million. But as you just saw, this does not look like great environmental mitigation, and the residents of LA are getting pissed. Yeah, just watch as a Hagerty consultant struggles to name even one thing they've accomplished in a community town hall.
I'm looking for a concrete example of something that you did that moved things forward and moved the needle. And I'd appreciate hearing it now, not later.
Okay, take that back, Harrison, and respond at some point.
Hello?
Yeah. I don't mean to be disrespectful, and I do intend to provide that information. We also have a website that has a lot of examples of our work. I want to
off the top of your head, just something that you did. I mean, it's got to be a memorable moment for you if this is what you specialize in.
Sure. So I mean, I think that, I want to go down that road. Every community that we work in, their recovery and what we do with them is kind of unique.
Okay, just one thing though. Just one thing.
In this case, almost everything that is happening when there's augmentation support, it's happening with the augmentation support. That's the point of it, and we're trying to make.
I don't know what that means.
Faster.
I don't know.
I don't even know what is augmentation support.
I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, you see, circling back, augmentation services, blah. They can't even answer basic questions about what they've accomplished because the reality is they haven't done much of anything, other than maybe taking money from taxpayers and putting it into their pockets. And yes, you are reading this headline correctly. The consulting firm that Mayor Karen Bass hired has been criminally convicted for stealing funds from taxpayers. Quote, 2 former disaster recovery experts at Hagerty Consulting, which LA Mayor Karen Bass appointed to lead rebuilding efforts after the recent wildfires, pled guilty in 2022 and 2023 to defrauding New York City of Hurricane Sandy relief funds, to the tune of over $500,000. So why were they even hired? That is the $10 million question, and where things get perhaps even more shady. The LA Times reported that the mayor's search for a recovery contractor has been, quote, mostly shrouded in secrecy. That's a little weird, so I did a little digging, and it looks like maybe, just a little conjecture here, but maybe the reason Hagerty got the contract isn't because they're good at disaster relief. No, it might be because they're good at politics. Specifically, individuals from the Hagerty Group have donated repeatedly to Act Blue, the fundraising arm of the Democratic Party, which Mayor Karen Bass is a member of. Not only that, Stephen Hagerty himself has been involved in various political campaigns, also aligning with the same partisan persuasion. So it's almost like the contract wasn't about disaster recovery at all. It was about political favors. But this is by no means an anomaly. This is pretty much what disaster recovery in America looks like. Just ask the people of Lahaina. It doesn't look to be much about rebuilding or helping communities recover. It seems to be more about cutting backroom deals, funneling money to friends and family, and making sure the right people get paid, allegedly. By and large, these companies aren't here to help. They're here to cash in on chaos and collect a fat check from the government, while the people who need it the most are left to rot. If you want to see more stories like this that actually hold people accountable, Make sure to subscribe because I'm exposing them one thread at a time. My name is James Lee. This is the 5149 Show. Thanks so much for watching.
I know what it takes. I know, I at least can say, I have deep feeling for you, and my first piece of advice to you is let's take care of our mental and physical health first before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire. When we started this fire.